the man who signed my check.
Huh.
All right. I told y'all before, I used to work at the Staples Center. It's now called Crypto, but the OGs, like me, my mama, and a lot more people, we still call it Staples Center. We were there when the building first opened, there for the Lakers three-peat, all that. And when we got our checks, it was with his signature, Tim Liwicki, who's also the owner of the Kings, the hockey team. A lot of people think that building is for the Lakers because they got all them banners in there. No. That is a hockey arena. The Lakers, Clippers, Sparks, all those other teams that played in there rent that building out. Here we go, Mr. Liwicki.
He was the president of the Denver Nuggets in the 90s. And in 2005, he was actually indicted by the Department of Justice for orchestrating a bid rigging scheme. But in 2009, he's the big boss at AEG. June 19, 2009, 3 weeks before the first show. Production manager.
This is good. This is a real good movie. I'm just trying to open up some sauce over here on the back end too, so I can eat my fried mushrooms. All right, let's get into it. All right, I'm trying to figure out where P. Diddy's bodyguard comes into this, because there was a guy who worked with the CIA, Farrar, I believe his name is, and he was in the room with the doctor who, when Michael passed.
John Hudal, one of the guys on the ground watching Michael rehearse every day, he sends an email to Randy Phillips. MJ was sent home without stepping foot on stage. He was a basket case, and Kenny was worried he would embarrass himself on stage, or worse yet, be hurt. The Kenny he's referring to is Kenny Ortega. Now, Ortega was the show's director and choreographer. He'd worked with Michael before on the Dangerous and History tours. He knew Michael. He knew what Michael looked like when he was on, and he knew what he looked like when something was wrong.
And can you describe what you personally observed on that day, June 19th, 2009?
That my friend wasn't right, that he wasn't well. There was something going on that was deeply troubling me.
And of course, by my friend, you mean Michael?
Yes.
Michael Jackson?
Yes.
The next day, Ortega sent a panicked email to Randy Phillips. He said Michael appeared weak and fatigued, that he was trembling, rambling, and obsessing. And Ortega recommended Michael have a psychological exam.
Man.
Randy responded, but he didn't seem too concerned. Now, if you remember a few months ago, Randy said that we need to pull the plug now, which would have been the right call, but now he's in too deep. Now, Kenny wasn't satisfied with Randy's response, so he wrote back. I honestly don't think he's ready for this based on his continued physical weakening and deepening emotional state. It is reminiscent of what Karen, Bush, Travis, and I remember just before he fainted, causing the HBO concerts to be canceled. Now, this is a pivotal moment. All the alarms are going off. Michael's falling apart. The fans can see it. The show director, the man that's closest to Michael creatively, he's yelling out loud in the email that putting Michael Jackson on stage was dangerous. And what did Randy Phillips do? He sent an email. Well, he sent a few emails, but it's what he said in those emails that would be Michael's demise.
Damn.
Instead of canceling rehearsals, instead of bringing in a medical team, calling Michael's family, he emails Kenny back and he says, "It is critical that neither you, me, or anyone around this show become amateur psychiatrists or physicians." Then he goes on to sing Dr. Murray's praises, and he writes, "The doctor said, Michael is not only physically equipped to perform, and that discouraging him to will hasten his decline instead of stopping it." Randy says that this doctor is extremely successful. We check everyone out and does not need this gig, so he is totally unbiased and ethical. You almost have to laugh at the way that he wrote the last part. It's kind of like, here, climb in my van. I promise I won't kidnap you. You can trust me. Now, what makes this even more sinister is that Randy emailed his boss, Tim, in response to this and said, "This guy is really starting to concern me," referring to Kenny Ortega.
"This guy is really starting to concern me. Read his email and my response. Dr. Murray and I are meeting with MJ at 4 p.m. today at the Forum RP." Why is Randy Phillips sending these to you?
I don't know. You should ask Randy.
And what was it? What concerned you about Mr. Ortega's email to you?
Yeah, I don't I don't remember.
So Randy and Tim end up calling a meeting at Michael's house. Randy, Tim, Kenny, Michael, and Dr. Conrad Murray. Now, before we talk about the meeting, it's important to look at an email that Paul Gongaware sent Kenny Ortega a few days earlier. Now, Kenny sent an email to Paul first saying that the doctor didn't clear Michael for rehearsal. And Paul's response really shines a light on what happens at the meeting. Paul replies, "We want to remind Murray that it's AEG, not MJ, who's paying his salary. We want to remind him what is expected of him."
Mr. Gongaware, I want to direct your attention to the middle of the first page. Based on the assumptions that AEG is your company and MJ is Michael Jackson, do you have an understanding of what that means?
No, I don't understand it, because we weren't paying his salary.
So why would you write that?
I have no idea.
At the meeting, according to a
hell?
police detective summary, when Ortega got in Michael's face about his concerns, Dr. Murray told everyone in the room, "You're not a doctor, butt out." The one person raising the alarm got silenced by the one person with the biggest financial incentive to keep things moving.
When I had a meeting at the house with AEG officials, and they pointed to Michael, the guy who could not pay me for months.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I think this might be the first time I ever heard his voice. Every time I seen him, it's just that stare that he does. I didn't even know what his voice sounded like unless I totally forgot. But my goodness, I didn't expect that. I don't know why I thought his voice would be like, yeah, you know, we thought, okay.
After taking care of him, that he was penniless. I was shocked. As it was that time when Michael came to me trembling and trying to get me away from the AEG official, who was Randy Phillips. I was shocked out of state. I should have just picked my bags up and leave.
Behind the scenes for weeks, Dr. Murray was giving Michael nightly infusions of propofol, a surgical anesthetic, just to get him to sleep.
We have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we're trying to pump him, but he's not. Okay. Okay, how old is he? He's 50 years old, sir. 50, okay. He's unconscious, he's not breathing? Yes, he's not breathing, sir.
And on the morning of June 25th, 2009, the doctor gave Michael a series of other drugs. But when Michael still couldn't get to sleep after a long night, he gave him 25 milligrams of propofol. Michael was finally able to get to sleep. Except this time.
Didn't wake up?
He never woke up.
Michael Jackson suffered cardiac arrest this afternoon. He was rushed to UCLA Medical Center.
The king of pop died suddenly at the age of 50 at about 2:30 this afternoon. He was on the verge of a 50-date comeback tour, but today he collapsed with a massive cardiac arrest, rushed to the hospital in a coma. Doctors could not save him.
This was 5 days after the meeting. 5 days after Randy Phillips, Paul Gongaware, Tim Lawicki, and Dr. Murray ignored Kenny Ortega's warning and did everything in their power to make sure the show went on.
You had your cell phone.
I had my cell phone.
You didn't call 911.
I did not call 911.
You called his assistant.
Yes.
To call security.
Yes.
This is a vital time.
Conrad Murray was arrested and charged with involuntary manslaughter. During the criminal trial, prosecutors argued that Murray acted recklessly by using a surgical anesthetic to treat insomnia and was criminally negligent in Michael's death. The jury agreed and Murray was convicted.
The court has determined that the appropriate term is the high term of 4 years imprisonment.
But that's not the end of it, because the real question was never just about Murray. It was about the people who put him there.
Right.
In 2010, Michael's mother, Katherine Jackson, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against AEG Live on behalf of herself and Michael's 3 children. The lawsuit accused AEG of putting their desire for profits from the This Is It tour over the health and safety of Michael. They were seeking $1.5 billion in damages.
Ooh.
The trial lasted 5 months. Dozens of witnesses testified and 250 pages of internal documents. The jury made their decision.
AEG Live never would have agreed to finance this tour if it knew Mr. Jackson was playing Russian roulette every night in his bedroom.
In the end, it seems the jury was persuaded by that argument, ruling once again that AEG did hire Conrad Murray, but that Conrad Murray was not unfit for the job, and in other words, AEG was not culpable for his death. The verdict means that the Jackson family essentially walks away with nothing.
AEG's lawyers, they argued that Michael Jackson was a 50-year-old man responsible for his own health, who had a history of doctor shopping. They said AEG Live did not have a crystal ball. But there was one thing that they could see coming: the money. One of the darkest revelations in the trial came a week after Michael's death. Weeks after the man they watched deteriorate and push forward anyway was gone, Randy Phillips sent one more email. Michael's death is a terrible tragedy, but life must go on. AEG will make a fortune from merch sales, ticket retention, the touring exhibition, and the film and DVD. And they did.
Damn.
AEG was allowed to sell Michael Jackson tour merchandise.
They make more money off of you when you're gone.
Wow. Yep, 100.
How many celebrities or people in the industry that have died, and it's like their songs be on for, it seemed like every station years straight. Yep. To send that email talking about we'll make money off the merch.
Some demons, bro.
Wow. Yeah. This is all new to me. Yeah. Y'all may have seen this stuff. I had no clue that this existed. It's like once Michael died, it was just like, you know, he's gone now. But I didn't do like no investigating. I just knew that, you know, the whole thing with the Conrad Murray guy, you know, going to jail. I didn't know his family was trying to sue for the 1.5. You know, if I heard about it, I totally forgot because it was so long ago. But seeing that is wild, man.
Shared in the profits from the This Is It documentary, a film made entirely from rehearsal footage of a man who they knew was at the end of his rope. So, Michael's gone, the doctor served 2 years, and the corporation walks free. But see, there's one silver lining to this story.
Uh-oh.
See, AEG can make as much money as they want, but they can never own Michael's legacy.
Oh.
There's one thing Michael loved more than the music and being the best, and that was his fans and how he made us feel. The emails don't define him, the trial doesn't define him, we define him. Every time somebody puts on Thriller at a party, or every time a kid tries to do the moonwalk for the first time, almost every artist looks up to Michael. They know they can never be him, but Michael's legacy inspires everyone to be just a little bit better, a little bit greater, and AEG Live can never take that. Now, Michael was no stranger to speaking out about companies that were trying to exploit him. We have access to these emails in hindsight, but Michael didn't know at the time. But one company Michael knew all about was Sony, and he spent the last few years of his life trying to take him down. If you want to hear more about that story, watch this next video here.
Hello everyone, Shaman Gabriel. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and also check out this video right here that YouTube thinks you will really enjoy. Thank you for tuning in.